Okay, this recording is about the Dragon Naturally Speaking class on AudioScribe Continuing Education. And so I've already logged in to the class. And we're going to start our discussion with the very first set of tasks. And that includes the installation and creating a new user, as well as setting options in Dragon. When installing, there are very few oddities about the install. We do have the instructions here for you on the install, registering, and activating the application. You must do all of that before you can create the new user. Once you have created the new user, you are going to add words from a list to add your markers and train them. When we say markers, we mean what you're going to say to bring in the question, the answer, and the speaker identifiers in your real-time document. So I say Cuco. I also train Cuco because when I get going really fast, my Q turns into a Ku. And so I train both the Cuco and the Cuco. I also train AMAC, and I train CAC. I also train the Cuco, the Cuco, the Keek, and I also train markers for new case, which is really only necessary for officials or people that work as officials occasionally. Once we have that done, we move to learn from specific documents, which is where we actually are going to take work that we have accomplished in the past, save it as a text-only file, and then run a bunch of them at the same time through Learn from Specific Documents. Learn from Specific Documents finds any new words that come from the documents that are not already in the Dragon vocabulary. And it also learns your writing style. As a court reporter, your writing style is going to be question, answer, question, answer, question, answer, speaker, speaker, speaker. Question, answer, question, answer, question, answer, speaker, speaker, speaker. And so that's what we call your writing style. If you are a card provider, your writing style may be more of a lecture type situation that a professor is doing. That's your writing style. So your writing style greatly depends on the kind of work that you do. And if you are doing both court reporting, captioning, and CART, then you would definitely want to either have multiple vocabularies in your user or have multiple users for the various types of work that you do, as those kinds of work are so different. Once you have created your user, you can train your markers and do learn from specific documents first or after, but it's important to delete your Dragon commands. When I talk about deleting Dragon commands, I talk about caps on, cap next, no spaces on, no space. These are things that can conflict with some of the words that you normally say in your work. And so you definitely want to make sure that you delete those commands as soon as you create the user. And then after that user is created, you want to go and export your Dragon user. And you also want to export your Dragon word list. These things are what will get you started again should your user profile become corrupted. So it's very important to have a good working backup of your user as it is just after it's created. and I would say allow that to remain on your computer in My Documents, put it on a flash drive, and put it in the cloud so that you always have access to it no matter where you are. You'll see that this is a PDF document of how to create your user. So these are the entire instructions. You may want to print that out or save the FAQ in a location that you can reach it should you need to create a new user and maybe need those instructions again. The next thing we see here is a video on creating the new user in Dragon 15. So if you click here, it'll take you to the actual video of me creating a new user in Dragon 15. So that's a 15-minute video. You don't have to watch it all at one time, but it would be a good idea to watch it. Then, of course, you'll do the quiz on getting started with Dragon, and we'll move to conditioning the user profile. In conditioning the user profile, we do dictation and then we do correction. And when we are doing correction, what we're actually doing is we're telling Dragon, this is what we said, and when we say this, please write this. So when we're doing correction, we are actually making the text that we're dictating, that we dictated, match exactly the words that we said. So the text that Dragon lays down for us and the audio that's attached to it should match exactly. So no adding punctuation that you did not dictate, no capitalizing things that are simply at the beginning of a sentence, and no adding punctuation again that you did not dictate. That's very, very important. We also talk about the accuracy journal here. An accuracy journal is a place where you can record what Dragon wrote, what you said, and what you want Dragon to write the next time it hears what you said. And so it is then in a third column, we write, how are we going to resolve that conflict? Do we need to make an addition to the Dragon vocabulary? Do we need to add a real-time rule in SpeechCAT? We'll discuss that later. Do we simply need to train the word that Dragon wrote and the word that we said so that Dragon does not get them confused the next time? So Accuracy Journal is a great thing to start ASAP, and you're mostly going to make notes in your Accuracy Journal when you're doing correction, and you're going to try to make notes for everything that you see more than once. Lots of things can happen once, but if you start seeing it more than once, you should definitely add it to your Accuracy Journal and figure out how you're going to resolve that issue. Next, we're going to talk about building context in the user profile. The primary way that we build context is through taking our old work, saving it as text-only files, and then running those through the Learn from Specific Documents feature of Dragon. It's a really important thing to do. It is really going to help Dragon to understand what it is you want from it. And you can see that we go over what is Learn from Specific Documents, the active and backup vocabularies in Dragon, using your own documents to add context, searching the web for context, creating a list of words or phrases to import, and the Dragon backup. So these are all very important things that you should go through and go over again and again as you're working with Dragon. So we're going to go back now to the primary screen, and we'll move down to accuracy tuning and creating a backup. In order to do accuracy tuning, you've got to have a certain amount of dictation already done in your system, and you do want to set your accuracy tuning for a time. Set it to accomplish the accuracy tuning when you're not working, during hours that you're not going to be working. But those hours have to be a time when your computer is left on so that it can do the accuracy tuning. You'll also learn about the Dragon backup. A backup is different from an export, as Dragon normally backs up every 5th time that you enter it. However, you can have Dragon do a backup from the Manage User Profiles dialog. I'm going to open that for you right now. I'm going to click on Profile, Manage User Profiles. And from here, you click on the vocabulary, click on Advanced. You can export the vocabulary, you can back up the vocabulary, and you can restore a vocabulary from a backup, all from the Manage User Profiles dialog. The next thing that you're going to learn about is the Nuanced Data folder. The Nuanced Data folder is where you can find all of your information that is native to Dragon Naturally Speaking. So I'm going to bring over the File Explorer, and I'm on the local disk C. I double click on Program Data, Nuance, Naturally Speaking 15. Here are all of the users that are currently in your Dragon profile. There's also other data here, but the only thing that we deal with at all is the users. And should ever you have a problem with your computer, this is exactly where you want to come and copy the users folder out, paste it on an external hard drive, or paste it into the cloud, and that is acceptable as a backup that you can import back into Dragon. The next thing you'll do is you will go through when something goes wrong, and this basically discusses how you can save yourself when you deal with something that has gone wrong. It's very important to read through that section. And then before you move out of the Dragon class, you want to make sure that you have exported your Dragon user profile and you have exported your Dragon user and word list. Remember that to export the profile, you go to Profile, Manage User Profiles, select one of your user profiles, click on Advanced and Export. What I do is I keep a folder under my documents called DNS User Profiles, and I always export to that folder. I click on OK, and you'll see Dragon letting you know that the user profile is in fact being exported. It's giving you a progress bar, let you know how long it's going to take. It should not take that long. The more developed that your profile is, the longer it'll take. That means there's more information in it. And we're done. If you click on Advanced again and Import, you can then path to that same folder, open it up, and then you can click on a user profile and click on OK. And it's going to say, okay, well, would you like me to bring that one back in and overwrite the existing profile? I generally click on Import the user profile with an alternate name, and I just add either the letters BU for backup or the word backup to the profile, and then we click on OK. That'll bring the profile in. make a complete copy of it. Click on OK when done, and there it is. You can also click on Advanced and Backup to automatically back up any profile. So we'll click on a different one. Click on Backup, and it says you have chosen to back up the current user profile. Would you like to save the user profile before creating the backup? I always say yes. And it's going to create the backup. Now, if we return to our Nuance data folder, and what user was that? That was the headset. So if I double click on the wireless headset under users, I'll see that the backup was done today, just now, and it's current as of right now. If we go to a different user, you'll see that it was last backed up in November of last year, but it was last saved just yesterday. So the current folder is much more recent than the backup folders. And that's the kind of information you can get out of the data folder of Nuance. And that helps you to know if you did a restore of a user that had gone bad, when are you restoring from? What date? And that's good information. Now, when it comes to the word list export, we click on our Dragon toolbar, and we click on Vocabulary and Export Custom Word and Phrase List. So generally what I do is I go to Local Disk C, Topic Files, Marker Files, and Word Lists, and I save my word lists here. And so I always base it on, I always name it for the user profile. So this would be my headset Logitech word list. I always save it as a TXT file, and I click on Save. And if I go back to C, Topic Files, Marker Files, and Word List, you can see that my word list is now here, and if I double click on it, it'll open it in Notepad, and you can see some of the things that are in my word list here. This is a wonderful way of starting a new vocabulary from scratch that you don't want. You're not sure you want to bring everything over from the old word list. So you can always go into the word list, remove what you no longer want there, save it, and then you have a word list to begin with. After you create the new user, you can import it and simply just train the words. From there, we move on to common problems and simple solutions. We'll continue to add to common problems and simple solutions. But this is always a good thing to read. And once you're done with this, you are ready to move to the AudioScribe application of your choosing. So that's the Dragon course. Thanks for listening.